of the different steps. Kathleen, can you, oh, sorry, I guess I'm not on video, am I? Now I am. Kathleen, can you also center the TPT buzzer board on your screen so that
I have my screen wide open all the way.
Yes, for me though, the buzzer itself is not in the center of the screen. Dan, do you have a fix for that?
I don't know what you're seeing.
Okay.
I have my window wide.
Yeah, from my vantage point, she's centered, and you guys are all on top. Are the thumbnails to the right or to the on top of the screen share?
Thumbnails are on top. The board is in the middle, and I see only half of the board, and then I see the right half of Kathleen's screen, like just purple emptiness towards the right.
Huh.
Yeah. It may be because I jumped out of. Let me try to refit the window to a different size. All right. Yeah, there we go. Now I got it.
Excellent.
Just don't move your mouse around too much. Cool. So let me run through the rules. I know this is the first one. We're getting started a little bit later. So I will try to be pretty brief on them, but of course, let me know if you have questions at the end. I know we got a lot of new TPTers here in TPT Thunderdome. So we will we'll walk you all through. The way this is going to work is we have 30 questions per round. So round one, we'll have 6 categories with 5 questions each. So I'll let you know the name of the category at the beginning of the category itself. And then the questions will be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points as we go through. We'll go through 6 categories of 5 questions. Those first 30 questions, that's round one. In round 2, we will have another 30 questions, but the point values will be doubled at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Now, important to note that if you buzz in and answer correctly, those points are added to your score. If you buzz in and answer incorrectly, those points are subtracted from your score. So there is a penalty for wrong answers. So that might impact the way that you buzz throughout today. If your team buzzes in, anybody on your team buzzes in and answers incorrectly, that'll automatically give the other team a chance to steal. And in the case of a steal, your whole team can work together for 10 seconds to come up with an answer to the question. If you answer the question, you are wagering either gaining or losing points, or your team can choose to pass and say, hey, we don't want to steal, we don't want to risk the points. So again, you buzz in individually. There's no conferring or talking to each other when you buzz in individually. You just buzz in, give me the answer, come off of mute and give me the answer. If you answer correctly, you get the points. Incorrectly, you lose the points, and the other team gets a chance to steal and work as a team to answer the question. Okay. After we work through all of those questions, in the case of a tie, we'll go to another category beyond that. One more important rule as we go through each of the categories is that every person on your team, each person on your team can buzz in no more than 2 times per category, okay? So what that means is if you're really, really good in a specific category, know that your buzzer limit, you only get to ring in twice total. Once we get to the next category, you can start ringing in again. The best way that I recommend doing this is if you buzzed in twice in a category and you're out of buzzes, then put your hands up. And that'll just be a good reminder to the rest of your team that you cannot buzz in for the rest of that round, okay? So just a pretty good way of doing it. Occasionally, as we go through these questions, we'll find a question that cannot be easily replicated in the TPT Thunderdome. In that case, we have what's known as a surprise substitution. It will be indicated by a dancing taco. And in the case of a surprise substitution, we will leave that category for one question only, jump to a different category, and then we'll jump back. Now, in the case of a surprise substitution, if that happens, know that that counts towards your buzzer limit for a given section. And there's a pretty big penalty. If you buzz in more than twice in a category, you'll automatically lose the points of the next question and give it to another team. So just try to keep track of how many times you've buzzed in as we go through each of the categories. Remember, twice per category.
Sorry, Ethan, you got cut off at the end there.
Yep. Had to get switch over to AirPods. What I said was questions. Come off of mute if you've got a question before we get started. Rebecca.
When we confer, if we do a steal, are we supposed to talk out loud? Should we have like a side Slack just to like quickly like talk to each other, or what's the best?
So generally, one of two ways. Slack not permitted. You can dial into your telephone number, but the best way is with it. Just come off of mute, and your team can discuss. The other team's already out of it, so just come off
Okay,
of
so
mute.
it doesn't
Don't discuss.
matter.
I will require an answer from the team captain only after 10 seconds. So I'm making you the team captain, Rebecca, for today. And then Ashley, I think you're the team captain for the Jennerators. So you will be the voice of your team in the case of a steal. All right, and we'll ask you whether you want to answer or pass. Other questions?
I know one person can only buzz in twice. Just buzzing in or getting correct answers twice?
Great question. It is buzzing in twice. So if you answer correctly or incorrectly, it still counts towards your buzz limit. So you can only buzz in twice per 5 questions in a category.
Like you can buzz, it's just if you get picked on.
You can buzz
Yeah.
as many times as you want. It's successfully buzzing in,
Right,
right?
successfully buzzing. Being the
That counts
fastest
towards your
buzzer.
limit. Yes. Makes sense. So when you buzz in, I will call upon you for the NXTers. If we call on you, just come off of mute on the phone, and then the person who buzzed in can answer. Again, no conferring. Just whoever buzzed in will come off of mute. You answer. We'll let you know if you got it right or wrong. Any other questions? To count to 7 seconds, right? All right, let's go around and do Dan, if you want to lead us through a quick buzzer check, and then we'll get started.
Sure. We're just going to test the buzzers for everybody, make sure they're working. We're going to start with Oscar. Can you give me a test buzz? Thank you. Rebecca? I'll say my eyes are failing me. Is it a Froza? Is that, or, yeah, okay. Next, please. Excellent. And Mike? I really have to get better glasses. This is getting really, really frustrating. Anyway, let's continue on. Yesenia? Papa Simpson. Is that Abe or Homer? Ashley and Alba. Great. So it looks like the buzzers are working. As always, if something comes up for you with the buzzer where you seem to have an issue, you think it's frozen, it's not working properly, just after the last question was over, just come off mute and say, hey, can we do a quick buzzer check? Want to make sure it's working.
Awesome. So it seems like all buzzers are working. We're all ready to go. Give yourself a quick stretch, stretch your buzzer fingers, get prepared. We are going to start with our first question in our first category, and it's worth 1 point. Hands on buzzers. Let's see what TPT is all about. Our first category today is going to be disasters. Disasters. All right. So we're going to start with a 1 point question in disasters. On April 27th, 2011, a mile-wide one of these devastated Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Rebecca.
A tornado.
A tornado is correct, and first blood is drawn. I think I need a better thing to say than that. But nice job for 1 point. 1 point for AdTech.
We don't need to answer like with a question, right? That's not.
You're more than welcome to. You do not need to.
Okay,
We accept both in the form of a question and in not the form of a question. Okay. 2 point question. 2 points coming up in disasters. Like Chicago the year before, Boston was hit by a great one of these in 1872. Mike.
A fire.
A fire, the Great Chicago Fire. How my neighborhood that I live in Chicago was built. People who wanted to continue to make wood buildings moved north in Chicago because they required bricks after the fire. None of that is part of this category, though. Question number 3 for 3 points. Question number 3 in disasters. Hands on buzzers. Tragically, in 2006, an explosion in one of these in Sago, West Virginia, left 12 dead. Tragically, in 2006, an explosion in one of these in Sago, West Virginia. Yesenia.
Is it a power plant?
A power plant is incorrect. We're going to take away 3 points and have you go back on mute. but thank you for giving us a chance to see how a steal works. I'm gonna pass this over to the blue team. You can come off of mute and discuss. I'll read it for you one more time, and then we'll give you the 10 seconds. Tragically, in 2006, an explosion in one of these in Sago, West Virginia, left 12 dead. Confer.
I was thinking like a nuclear, like
No,
some
it's West Virginia coal plant or like a coal mine.
a coal mine. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think was in Virginia.
That's the
think
only
of-
thing, or like a chemical plant would be my other, like the two.
And
Say.
do you want to?
Rebecca, go with it.
I think
Wait,
coal
what?
just because of West Virginia.
I have no idea. So whatever you guys.
Coal mine or a coal plant or a?
A mine.
Yeah, a mine, I guess.
And we need an answer, Rebecca.
Okay, we're gonna go with coal mine.
And you are correct. Great job on the steal. Nice work,
Yes.
AdTech. That's plus 3 points for you. And now we see how these steals work. Nice work, red team. Blue team, I know you'll get your chance as well. Let's keep going though in disasters for 4 points. Hands on buzzers. 4 years before the Hindenburg, a US Navy one of these plunged in the Atlantic Ocean, killing 73 people. Alba. Come off a mute for me.
There you go. Oh, okay. Is it a Navy ship?
It is not a Navy ship. I'm going to take away 4 points from the blue team. Let you go back on mute, and then I will pass it back to the red team for another chance at a steal. Let me read it for you one more time. 4 years before the Hindenburg, a US Navy one of these plunged into the Atlantic Ocean, killing 73.
Is it gonna be a submarine?
That's like the only.
No, the Hindenburg was like the big airshipy blimpy thing, wasn't it?
So is
Yeah.
it
So it has to be one of those, whatever that's
Is it a
called.
blimp? An
A blimp?
airship.
Airship.
Not a blimp, an
it's not
airship.
called an airship. It's
No.
called I'm drawing such a blank. Yeah.
Plunge into the Atlantic.
I don't remember exactly what they're called.
Time. Answer or pass?
Pass.
Pass. I would have taken airship. It's a dirigible, is what you might have been trying to remember the word for. But a dirigible, a rigid airship.
Definitely wasn't trying to remember that word because I don't think I've ever heard it in my life.
Well, nice job. Make sure to go back on mute. It was a triple stumper on Jeopardy. So the word dirigible did not pop into people's head that easily on the actual show. I'll get one last question here in our first category of disasters. Hands on buzzers. In 1931, flooding of this second longest Chinese river is estimated to have killed nearly 4 million people. In 1931, flooding of this second longest Chinese river is estimated to have killed nearly 4 million people. 10 seconds. Time. Yeah, usually the questions get a little more difficult as we get through the category. It's the Yellow River, or the Huanghe, is the second longest river in China after the Yangtze. All right. Well, that's all for disasters. The score is 6 to -7. Blue team, you got a lot more categories to catch back up. Never fear. Our next category that we're going to cover with our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 point questions is I'd rather stay home. I'd rather stay home. Home is in quotation marks, which means every correct answer will contain the word home, right? So if you buzz in and you say something that doesn't have home in it, you're probably going to get it wrong. So home, I'd rather say home, home in quotation marks. Let's see how this works with our very first question for 1 point. This is longing for the familiar, such as while away at Camp Granada. Rebecca.
Homesick.
Homesick is longing for the familiar. Home in the correct answer. Nice job for 1 point, Rebecca. 2 point question. 2 points in I'd rather stay home. The first one of these opened in 1979, a vast 60,000 square feet with empty boxes on the shelves to Rebecca.
Home Depot.
Home Depot is what opened in 1979 with a lot of square feet. Nice work for 2 points. And yeah, your hands are up. That means you're out for the rest of this category after 2 correct answers. Thanks for displaying how the 2 buzz rule works. 3 point question, 3 points coming up. The civilian part of a country at war, or a 2011 video game in which the US is occupied by North Korea. The civilian part of a country at war, or a Papa.
Is that the home front?
Home front is correct for 3 points. Nice work. Home front, both the video game and the civilian part of the country at war, is the home front. Nice work for 3 points. 4-point question in I'd rather stay home. This is the forward completion of the proverb, curses like chickens. Complete the proverb. This is the forward completion of the proverb, curses like chickens, blank. 10 seconds. Time. An oddly worded question. I'm sure you're familiar with the rest of it though. Curses like chickens, come home to roost. Come home to roost is the rest of the proverb. All right, 5-point question, 5 points. And I'd rather stay home. The big point question. I know Rebecca's still out. Everybody else is in. This is a method of treating disease with only minute Papa.
Home remedy?
Home remedy
Wait.
is incorrect. I'm gonna take away 5 points from the generators. And I'll pass this back for a steal. And Rebecca, you are allowed on a steal to be involved. I will read the question for you one more time. A method of treating disease with only minute amounts of remedies.
With only like homeopathic guys? What?
That's what I was thinking. That's the only thing that's coming to mind.
Yeah. But we might lose our points though. It's 5 points.
No, don't risk it.
No.
We will
That is a
pass.
steal.
What? Do we lose
Let-
points on a steal, Ethan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it? Oh, so it's not a free. Okay, so hell no.
Well,
Yeah.
what else? Minute amounts of remedy?
Probably homeopathic though, like Mike said.
Time, player pass.
We're going to play homeopathic.
What the?
Homeopathic is correct for the 5-point steal. Hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Living on the edge.
Whew, that was tough.
Nice work for the 5 points. That's 2 categories down, and the score is 14 to -9. Blue team with some risks in that one, but again, you still got a lot of questions to answer. Let's go to our third category. Our third category today is education. Education. Right? Seems like it would be appropriate for what we do around here. Let's start with the 1-point question in education. Hands on buzzers. Randy Weingarten, now president of this union, also served on the executive council of the AFL-CIO. Randy Weingarten, now president of this union, also served on the executive council of the AFL-CIO. 10 seconds. Time. It is AFT, the American Federation of Teachers. American Federation of Teachers. All right, tough 1-point question. We'll get a 2-point question in education. Hands on buzzers. Back in 1987, Aspen College began offering an MBA degree online. MBA standing for this. Alba.
Masters of Business Administration.
A Master's of Business Administration is correct. I had a feeling that question might go
Good work.
at the end to it. Nice job for 2 points, blue team. Let's go to 3-point question in education. Hands on buzzers. Since the 1950s, the College Board has administered this program that lets high school Alba. Come on,
SAT.
the SAT is incorrect.
No!
I know the penalties of buzzing too early. We'll take away 3 points. I'll pass to the other team. Let me read the rest of the question for you. Since the 1950s, the College Board has administered this program that lets high school kids study closer to college level.
What's that?
College now. Yeah, it's college now. I think. But I don't know. I took it. I
Let's
took
wait, man. Let's do it.
How confident are you, Afroza?
It's only 3 points, so I say we go for it, unless anyone else.
I took it when I was in high school, right? Yeah.
Let's go for it.
All right, let's
All
go
right.
for it.
We're gonna play college now, Ethan.
And you're incorrect. We're also going to take away 3 points from you. Overthinking it, the 1950s College Board helping high school kids study closer to a college level. We should recognize this as advanced placement, or the AP.
Oh, that was AP.
I just didn't think College Board did that.
All right, so that's our 3-point question in education, and some good back and forth, some good stumpers. Oscar, make sure to go back on to mute for us, and we'll jump into the 4-point question in education. Oh, actually, we're going to jump somewhere else because it is a surprise substitution. Surprise substitution, dancing taco, surprise substitution. Remember that the taco judges whether you get this next question or incorrect or correct, so don't disappoint him. He gets very upset. All right. Our question is going to come from the category American women. American women. A few of those here. Let's see if you know the answer to the question. American women, again, worth 4 points. A view from Pikes Peak inspired Catherine Lee Bates to write the words to this patriotic song. A view from Pikes Peak inspired Catherine Lee Bates to write the words to this patriotic song. 10 seconds. Time. Beautiful spacious skies, amber waves of grain. America the Beautiful, written by Catherine Lee Bates. Looking at Pikes Peak. All right. Apparently the taco's disappointed in you. You American women did not know about American women. We'll give you a pass. There's still a 5-point question. 5-point question left in education. Hands on buzzers. In 1980, the Department of Education was created out of this now defunct cabinet department. In 1980, the Department of Education was created out of this now defunct cabinet department. 10 seconds. Time. The HEW. I think it was a triple stumper on the show, so don't be surprised if you don't remember when it was changed in 1979. I think it was Health Education and Welfare, or Housing Education and Welfare, one of those ones. Anyway, HEW. All right, 3 categories down, 3 categories yet to go. Our next category is Major League Baseball logos. I will describe a Major League Baseball logo of the past or present. You tell me the team. These are going to be shorter clues, so be ready with your stretched buzzing fingers to buzz in quickly. All right, so hands on buzzers, Major League Baseball logos. I will give you the description. A red letter A with a halo. A red letter, Ashley.
The Braves?
For me. One more time.
Is it the Braves?
It is not the Braves. I'm going to take away 1 point from the blue team, and then I will pass it back over to the red team for the potential steal. A red letter A with a halo.
Where's Oscar?
That's easy.
Is that the Angels?
Yeah, the Anaheim Angels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just misclicked the buzz-in, but
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say.
Oscar.
All right, we're gonna play the Anaheim Angels.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is their correct name, but it is correct for 1 point. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Nice job for the steal for 1 point. Got a 2-point question coming up in Major League Baseball logos. Again, hands on buzzers. A black and orange bird perched on the dot of a Mike.
The Orioles.
The Baltimore Orioles is correct for 2 points. I only need the team mascot name. You're good. But the Baltimore Orioles is correct for 2 points. 3-point question, Major League Baseball logos, hands on buzzers. Formerly, their logo was the team's name in red across an outline of the Liberty Bell. Formerly, the team's mascot was its name, Papa.
Is it the Philadelphia Phillies?
The Philadelphia Phillies is correct for 3 points. Nice work, blue team. Good old 3 points in Major League Baseball logos. 4-point question, 4 points, hands on buzzers. This team's logo is the team's name in red, outlined in blue, above a red tomahawk. Oscar.
Atlanta Braves.
Now it's time for the Atlanta Braves. Nice job for 4 points. Way to go. And our final Major League Baseball logo for the big 5 points. Hands on buzzers. Their logo is a baseball flying past snow-capped mountains. Oscar.
Colorado Rockies.
The Colorado Rockies is correct for a big 5-point gain. Nice job, both teams in Major League Baseball logos. The score is now 23 to -8. All right, we're going to go into our next category. Oscar, make sure to go back on mute. And our next category is going to have some pretty short clues as well, so be prepared to buzz in quickly. It is called fast food menu. I am going to give you 2 menu items from a fast food menu, and you tell me what fast food restaurant served that either currently or in the past. Okay, fast food menu. See how it works. 1-point question. How much fast food do you eat? Let's find out. The Chris Sandwich and the Whopper. Ashley.
Burger King.
Burger King is the Chris Sandwich and the Whopper. Nice work for 1
Hey, we
point. 2-point question. 2 points coming up in fast food. The Gordita Baja and the Papa.
That is Taco Bell.
For 2 points. Blue team found their best category so far. 2 points. Gordita Baja, Burrito Supreme. Those are both from Taco Bell. Hands on buzzers for the 3-point question. Hands on buzzers. The extra crispy chicken and the snacker. Ashley.
KFC.
KFC is correct for nice work. And Ashley, I think that's 2 buzzes for you for this category, so no more buzzing from Ashley. All right. 4-point question, 4 points in fast food menu. The All-American Roast Burger and Sidekickers Papa.
Is this Arby's?
It is Arby's, correct. And trying to run the category here. We got one last question in fast food. I'm sure the blue team wishes there were more than one more question, but last question, 5 points, everybody, hands on buzzers. Here we go. The Oreo brownie earthquake and Alba.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen is correct for 5 points and a good run of the category, and a Butterfinger Blizzard was the other one. Way to catch back up to AdTechnically We're Awesome, making the score 23-7 with a really strong performance in our fast food menu. Alas, we cannot stay there forever. We must move along. Our next category is called Nature Study. Nature Study about nature. Kind of the exact opposite of fast food, which is not found in nature naturally, right? All right, here we go with a 1-point question in Nature Study, hands on buzzers. Contrary to popular belief, this US marsupial does not play dead when frightened. It's actually suffering from shock. Rebecca.
Possum.
A possum is correct. It is not playing dead. It's just suffering from shock when it's frightened. Nice job for 1 point. 2-point question in Nature Study, hands on buzzers. The outer covering of a macadamia nut is called this. Perhaps from Middle English for house, it covers the shell, which you can crack with a hammer and then enjoy. The outer covering of a macadamia nut is called this. Perhaps from Middle English for house, it covers the shell, which you can crack with a hammer and then enjoy. Time, and Rebecca, if you are not on mute, you should go back up. Time, it is the husk right? From Middle English for house, husk is the outer side of a macadamia nut. All right, let's keep going. We got a 3-point question in nature study. In North America, many spiders harm humans with their bites, including this brown one whose name means hermit. Papa.
Brown recluse.
The brown recluse is correct for 3 points. Nice work. That adds 3 more points to the blue team's side. 4-point question coming up in nature study. Hands back on buzzers. The head of this plant, Helianthus annuus, can grow to more than 30 inches in diameter. The head of this plant, called Helianthus annuus, Rebecca.
Sunflower.
Sunflower is the head of the plant that we're looking for that can grow to more than 30 inches in diameter. Helianthus, Helios, the sun. Well done. It also takes you out for this last question for 5 points, but nature study for 5. Here we go. Although most seals live in the ocean, some live in freshwater, like this Siberian lake, the world's deepest lake. Although most seals live in the ocean, some live in freshwater, like this Siberian lake, the world's deepest lake. 10 seconds. Time. If you knew the deepest lake in the world, it is Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal. All right, so that is, we did disasters, we did the home category, education, baseball logos, fast food, and nature. That's 6 categories. We are done with round 1. Woo! Nice work. At the end of round 1, the score is 28-10. Still a really close game with a lot of points yet to be had. I know we're coming up on time. We will do our best to rush through the second half of this and keep all your team members here. For round 2, the point values are doubled to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Again, give yourself a good stretch. Get ready. Point values are doubled. New categories on the board. Our first category for round 2 is going to be called channel surfing. Channel surfing. And while you'd hope this would be about television, it's actually about geography. Let's see what's going on with our 2-point question in channel surfing. Hands on buzzers. Its western entrance lies between Land's End in the United Kingdom and Ushant in France. Its western entrance lies between Land's End in the United Kingdom and Ushant in France. And Rebecca.
The English Channel.
The English Channel is correct. That is the channel we are surfing. Nice job for 1 point. In French, it is called La Manche, which is French for the sleeve.
Ethan's 2 points.
Oh, sorry, 2 points. See, I got to get into round 2. 4-point question, 4 points coming up in channel surfing. Hands on buzzers. In 1903, Otto Nordenskjöld named a channel in Antarctica for this country's Crown Prince Gustav. In 1903, Otto Nordenskjöld named a channel in Antarctica for this country's Crown Prince Gustav. 10 seconds. Time. Otto Nordenskjöld and Prince Gustav. If you were curious, was it Norway? Was it Sweden? They were the same at the time. So it was Norway and Sweden, or Norway or Sweden. We would have accepted either. All right, 6-point question, 6 points in channel surfing, hands on buzzers. This is the largest of the islands separated from the mainland by the Mozambique Channel. This is the largest of the islands separated from the mainland by the Mozambique Channel. 10 seconds. Time. Maybe a little challenge in geography on our trivia today. What you gotta think large islands. Madagascar. Madagascar is the largest of the islands separated by the Mozambique Strait. All right. Mozambique Channel. Channels for 8 points. Channels for 8. Hands on buzzers. This channel that shares its name with a large peninsula connects the Gulf of Mexico with the Caribbean. This channel that shares its name with a large peninsula connects the Gulf of Mexico with the Caribbean. 10 seconds. Time. Thinking of large peninsulas and Mexico, the Yucatan Channel, the Yucatan Channel. All right. Sounds, I see some nodding, so people knew it, but we're too nervous to buzz in for a large 8-point question. We still have one more question left in channels. It's a 10-point question. Hands on buzzers. Named for a British naturalist's ship, this channel lies within the islands of Tierra del Fuego. Named for a British naturalist's ship, this channel lies within the islands of Tierra del Fuego. Time. Beagle Channel. Beagle Channel, it was the name of Darwin's ship, the Beagle. All right. So geography didn't quite go as we expected. We still have more categories yet to go. Let's jump to short stories. Short stories, a little bit of a literature category. Start with the 2-point question here in short stories. The heroine of an O. Henry story believes she will die when the last one of these falls from the ivy. The heroine of an O. Henry story believes she will die when the last one of these falls from the ivy. 10 seconds. Rebecca.
Leaves.
One more time.
Leaves.
Yes, the last leaf is correct for 2 points. Maybe from context clues, not necessarily an O. Henry reader, but not bad, not bad. 4-point question, 4 points in short stories, hands on buzzers. George Washington Cable's 1879 collection called Old Creole Days contained 7 stories set in this city. Rebecca.
New Orleans.
New Orleans makes sense with Old Creole Days. Nice job for 4 points. Got a 6-point question coming up in short stories. 6 points, hands on buzzers, if you can still buzz in. This Washington Irving character had an insuperable aversion to all kinds of profitable labor. It's a quote. This Washington Irving character had an insuperable aversion to all kinds of profitable labor. 10 seconds. Time, the name a little bit more familiar than the quote. Rip Van Winkle is the Washington Irving character. All right. Let's see if we can get 8 points out of an 8-point question in short stories. Hands on buzzers. His Franny and Zoe stories were first published in the New Yorker. His Franny and Zoe stories were first published in the New Yorker. 10 seconds. Froza.
Salinger?
JD Salinger is correct for 8
Yes.
points. Nice work. Getting into the difficult questions and using that old knowledge on Franny and Zoe. Nice work for 8 points on JD Salinger. 10 points. Our big 10-point question. 10 points. 10 points in short stories. Hands on buzzers. F. Scott Fitzgerald's Tales of This contained 11 short stories in 3 sections. The first of which was My Last Flappers. F. Scott Fitzgerald's Tales of This contained 11 short stories in 3 sections, the first of which was called My Last Flappers. 10 seconds. Time. Oh, Afroza, right before the buzzer. Unmute and give me an answer.
Tales of the it has to do with jazz. Tales of the Jazz.
Incorrect. I'm going to take away 10 points.
Oh,
Pass it to the other team. Make sure to go back on mute. I will throw it to the blue team for the Generators. I'll read it for you one more time. You can discuss, and then we'll get an answer from Ashley. F. Scott Fitzgerald's Tales of This contained 11 short stories in 3 sections, the first of which was My Last Flappers. You can choose to answer or pass.
We're gonna pass.
Yeah, we don't want it.
Yeah. 10 points. If you don't know it, you don't want to guess on it. Afroza, you're so close. It's Tales of the Jazz Age. You did the full title, Tales of the Jazz Age. Almost there, almost all clicked. All right, well, let's keep going. We've still got 4 more categories. Hands on buzzers for 2 points. Our next category is called Dress Casual. Dress Casual. Might be about clothing. Let's see. Hands on buzzers. In 2008, Christie's auctioned one of these athletic outfits worn on The Sopranos for $2,375. Rebecca.
A leisure suit.
I'll accept it. A leisure tracksuit is correct for 2 points. Worn on The Sopranos. Nice job for 2 points. 4-point question. 4 points coming up. This is either an effort at concealing facts by people in power, or a beach or pool garment such as a pareo. This is an effort at concealing facts by people in power, or Rebecca.
A cover-up.
A cover-up is correct. A cover-up is correct for 4 points. Hey, Bob.
Hello.
You all might need another room. We still got 3 categories here to go. So check in with Dan, okay?
We're waiting.
Okay, no problem. 6-point question, 6 points in dress casual, hands on buzzers. Before bringing the show Survivor to the United States, Mark Burnett bought these for $2 and then sold them for $18 on Venice Beach. Before bringing the show Survivor to the US, Mark Burnett bought these for $2 and sold them for $18 on Venice Beach. 10 seconds. Time. You had a couple options here if you weren't ready to guess. You might have thought like sandals or sunglasses. It was t-shirts. T-shirts was the answer, and a triple stumper on Jeopardy. So a tough one to know if you don't know the entire life history of Mark Burnett. I don't know who does. 8-point question, 8 points in dress casual, hands on buzzers. Another name for a baseball jacket or the main team representing a college in a sport. Papa.
Is it a varsity jacket or a letter jacket? I mean, I don't.
Varsity jacket is correct for 8 points. Nice big 8-point game. Way to go. And our 10-point question, 10 points in dress casual, hands on buzzers. This cloth is not just for grunge musicians. An 1897 book for boys says it's the best wear for cricket. This cloth is not just for grunge musicians. An 1897 book for boys says it's the best wear for cricket. 10 seconds. Time. When you think grunge musicians, we all think flannel. Flannel is what we were looking for the 10 points. All right, 3 categories left to go. Let's jump into category number 4 of round 2. This category is before and after, before and after. So examples would be like Saint Nick Nolte. I will give you 2 clues. You have to put them together to give me a before and after, all right? So let's use our brains, try to connect these things. Let's go for 2 points. We'll see how this is done. Arkansas capital. That's a big stone between Spain and Morocco. Arkansas capital. That's a Papa.
Is it Little Rock?
We need before and after.
Oh, well then, yeah. Might as well mark me wrong now.
So it's incorrect. We'll take away 2 points, and I'll pass it over to the red team. I'll read it for you one more time. Arkansas capital, that's a big stone between Spain and Morocco.
Spain and Morocco. What do you guys?
I don't know that I understand this category. What does it mean by before?
We just
So-
gotta guess what's like.
Like Little Rock, and then
And then there's
something.
like rock something. Oh,
Just
I
two
know.
answers. That's it.
Little Rock of Gibraltar. That's what we're playing.
There you go.
Little Rock of Gibraltar is correct for 2 points. Nice work. So yes, before and after, we'll give you 2 clues. You combine the clues together to give me the answer. So Little Rock is the Arkansas capital. The stone between Spain and Morocco is the Rock of Gibraltar. So the Little Rock of Gibraltar is correct for 2 points. Nice work, red team. 4-point question coming up in before and after. Hands on buzzers. The type of letter telling the president, the type of letter telling the second president of the United States, you're not his girlfriend anymore. The type of letter telling the second president of the United States, you're not his girlfriend anymore. 10 seconds. Time.
I know.
You know, Bob, what is the type of letter telling the second president of the United States you're not his girlfriend?
Dear John Adams.
It is a Dear John Adams letter.
Dear John Adams.
Nice work for 4 points, Bob.
Thank you. I need them.
You can keep your own, but yeah, you came in late. You got to catch up. Before and after for 6 points. Before and after for 6 points. What a vampire on a former HBO show might have to know to get a transfusion, such as O or AB. What a vampire on a former HBO show might have to know to get a transfusion, such as Alba.
Is it True Blood type? I don't know. True Blood type?
You did it. True Blood and blood type means True Blood type is correct for 6 points. Nice job on the before and the after to pull it together. Great work for 6 points. We got an 8-point question. 8 points coming up in before and after. Hands on buzzers. This is the stage where you're making enough to cover the cost of the basketball player who runs the defense, or sorry, the offense. Apologize. The stage where you're making enough to cover the cost of the basketball player who runs the offense. Mike.
Break-even point guard.
The break-even point guard is correct. Break-even point guard. Nice work for 8 points. 10-point question coming up in before and after. Hands on buzzers. This is the higher tract where heartburn originates. Gets a law helping servicemen go to college. The higher tract where the heartburn originates gets a law helping servicemen go to college. 10 seconds. Time.
I know.
What do you think?
Upper GI bill.
The upper GI bill would have been the correct answer.
Oh, good. I got 14 points.
Yeah, wow, you're catching up. All right, we got 2 last categories to go. We'll buzz through them. Our second to last category is called rhetorically speaking. Rhetorically speaking, and we will pop in with 2 points in rhetorically speaking. Hands on buzzers. This is the substitution of an inoffensive word for an offensive word. The substitution of an inoffensive word for an offensive word is this type of ism. Time. A euphemism. A euphemism is the substitution of an inoffensive word for an offensive word. All right, 4-point question, 4 points. I'd give my right arm for a drink is an example of this from the Greek for exaggeration. Papa.
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole is correct for 4 points. Nice work, blue team. Let's keep going for 6 points. Archaism. Archaism in rhetoric is a use of this type of term. Archaism in rhetoric is a use of this type of term. 10 seconds. Time, archaism, archaic, it's something that's old or obsolete or antiquated. That's what archaism is. All right, 8-point question, 8 points coming up. An example of antithesis is the line, not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved this, Yesenia.
Brutus more.
Can you say it for me one more time?
It is not that I love Caesar less, but that I love Brutus more.
Incorrect. I'm going to take away 8 points from the blue team, and I will pass it back to the red team. I'll read it for you one more time. An example of antithesis is the line, not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved this more.
Do you guys have any idea?
No.
Not that I love Caesar less, but I love. It's like myself, or I don't know. I think we'll pass. We're gonna pass.
All right, a pass. Bob, do you know the answer? I won't put you on the spot. No, you're on mute. Not a he. Brutus was a good guess, but a this.
Rome.
Rome is the this that he
I
loved.
loved Rome more.
Rome.
I loved Rome more was the answer. All right, 10-point question, 10 points in rhetoric. Hands on buzzers. Rhetorically, hello darkness, my old friend, is termed this, just like a punctuation mark. Rhetorically, hello darkness, my old friend, is termed this, just like a punctuation mark. 10 seconds. Papa.
An ending.
An ending is incorrect. We're going to take away 10 points from the blue team. Pass it back over to the red team. Let me give it to you one more time. Rhetorically, hello darkness, my old friend, is termed this, just like a punctuation mark. 10 seconds.
Could be period or exclamation, maybe.
That's what I was thinking, but I'm not sure on anything.
Hyperbole.
No, I feel like it's a. Should we take a guess or pass?
It's 10 points. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I can play it safe.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
not sure if
pass.
anything.
We'll pass.
All right, let's
Definitely.
pass. Probably a smart idea. Hello darkness, my old friend is an example of Bob.
Apostrophe.
Apostrophe is what it's called, just like a punctuation mark. Nice job, Bob.
Thank
All
you.
right, 5 questions left. 5 questions left. Our last category is the United States Coast Guard. The United States Coast Guard. Let's see what you know about the Coast Guard. 2-point question, hands on buzzers. The Jayhawk helicopter can reach 205 miles per hour as one of the Coast Guard's main assets in SAR, search and this. Afroza.
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue is SAR. Nice work. Jayhawk helicopter comes in handy. 4-point question in the Coast Guard. Hands on buzzard. The U.S. Coast Guard has reach. A port security unit went to protect Navy ships after the 2000 attack on the USS Cole in this Mideast country. The U.S. Coast Guard has reach. A port security unit went to protect Navy ships after the 2000 attack on the USS Cole in this Mideast country. 10 seconds. Time. Bob, you look ready to answer.
No, I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember.
Yemen. Yemen is where the USS Cole off the coast of Yemen. All right, 6-point question, 6 points in the U.S. Coast Guard. One job of a U.S. Coast Guard tender is inspecting and replacing buoys, fog signals, lights, and other indicators, collectively called aids to this. One job of a U.S. Coast Guard tender is inspecting and replacing buoys, fog signals, lights, and other indicators, collectively called aids to this. 10 seconds. Time. Aids to.
Would it be navigation?
Correct, Bob. Aids to navigation is what buoys, fog signals, lights, and other indicators make up. Nice, nicely done, Bob. A tough question though overall. An 8-point question, 8 points in the U.S. Coast Guard. Hands on buzzers. In World War II, a major Coast Guard task was hunting these vessels, Hitler's main weapon in the Battle of the Atlantic. In World War II, Rebecca.
Boats.
Can you say it for me one more time?
U-boats.
U-boats, Unterboats. The U-boats are correct for 8 points. And with just one question left, pretty good lead for the red team, but let's see if we can get the last question in the U.S. Coast Guard for 10 points. The Coast Guard looks out for the smuggling of drugs and people in this practice, from the French for to forbid. Papa.
Go, Papa.
Well, I should have let you finish the question. I shouldn't do that.
Just say it.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pass this one as well.
Well, you don't get to pass after ringing in. We will still take away the 10 points, but I will read the question. Pass it to the team. The Coast Guard looks out for the smuggling of drugs and people in this practice, from the old French for to forbid. And there's some sort of alarm going on. I'll read it one more time just in case you missed it. The Coast Guard looks out for the smuggling of drugs and people in this practice, from the old French for to forbid.
Looks out. You guys have any idea what the word is? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know. We'll pass.
Pass on the last question. Why not? I mean, there's nothing venture. You still win.
I'm not sure. Is it contraband?
It's not contraband, which would be good. It's interdiction. Interdiction.
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
Oh,
Interdit. French for to forbid. Interdit. All right. Final score 6.